Look at that. We are live. Hello, folks. Welcome to our Ninja Skills Booster October session, How to Love Your Inbox. Truly, we mean this. We're going to give you some tips in real time, very quickly, about how to have a better relationship with email and with your inbox. My name is Nick. I am a productivity ninja here at Think Productive. That's what it actually says on my business card, and it's amazing. Yes, get in touch with me. We'd love to stay connected. All of our workshops, including this little teaser one today, comes from the best-selling book, How to Be a Productivity Ninja. There's an entire chapter on this book about how to get your inbox to zero. And this is kind of a snippet of one of the programs we offer of getting your inbox to zero. Before we get into it, we're going to have an exciting giveaway at the end of this session, so have your phones handy because we're going to give you a nice little QR code to enter a draw to win a copy of How to Be a Productivity Ninja. A great little giveaway coming up in a minute, but let's get into it. Why are we here? Why are we here today for our little lunch and learn, our little Ninja Skills Booster? We're here to have a better relationship with our inbox, to love your inbox. So what we're covering today, putting emails in their place. Again, you're going to hear me say this a couple times today. Email is a great employee, but a terrible boss. So we're going to put emails in their place today. And we're going to give you our top five tips to tame emails so you can learn to love your inbox. We're going to start with you. Let us know into the chat, please. How is email affecting you, your work and your well-being? You know, a couple words. If you go 3 or 4, we're not going to scrutinize, but we love emojis too. Let us know. How is email affecting your work and well-being? This is usually where we hear frustrated, overwhelmed. Yeah, love that. Some people are on the same page here, the kind of mind blown emoji. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to deal with, certainly. We have volume, we have expected response times, we have long-winded trails, we have people misusing CC, distracting. Yeah, too many email accounts to check. Right, absolutely. So you folks are right on the same page as us. There's a love-hate relationship with our emails. Let's talk about why we often hate emails. Because expectations for immediate response or action. Right, absolutely. Email is a constant and a major distraction. Look at some of these stats here. On average, most professionals every day are receiving upwards of 121 emails and sending at least 40. I'm going to tell you already, these might even be out of date. This is pre-pandemic. We're probably looking to closer to 140, 150 received every day and north of 50 that we're sending every day. We're spending 3.5 hours just checking email, not responding or filing, checking email, which is staggering, which can spend up to about 40% of our day working in email. Bad news to start. It's here to stay. Email is here to stay. We are estimating by the end of this year alone, we'll see about 347 billion with a B emails sent this year. And by the end of 2025, 376 estimated billion with a B emails sent. So again, it's here to stay, but there's some cons that come with it. Yes, it's probably the most convenient, but it is the primary source of office interruptions. The pings, the dings, the alerts, oh, I've got to respond to this, and it's pulling my attention from what I was actually doing, getting focused. It leads to inefficient and long-winded communication trails. Give us a virtual reaction if you know what I'm talking about. That long thread, the CC list, the reply all. A lot of us, have great intentions. We are polite people, but oftentimes we get into a string of courtesy emails. There's a cake in the kitchen. Thanks. Yum. Stop the madness. The result is a lack of focus, stress, and overwhelm. And I'm going to get you to think about a question. We're going to actually answer it in the chat in a couple minutes, but How many times a day are you checking your email? Hold off on response yet. We're going to ask you in a minute because some of the results are staggering how frequently people are checking, or, secret answer if it's always on as well. This is really fascinating. This is one of my favorite studies ever done. This was done by King's College in the UK, and they took 3 groups of people and put them through an IQ test. The first group of people, no controls, no variables, write the IQ test. The second group of people had email distractions, pings, dings, alerts, pop-ups, notification, and then wrote the IQ test. And then the third group just smoked a lot of pot and got really high and wrote the IQ test. And here's the results. The group with no variables, no controls, obviously did the best, but it was the people that got really high that had the second best score. They only had a 4-point deviation from the no control group, and it was the email distraction group that had a 10-point drop in deviation from the control group, which I think was really staggering. The one that was subject to pings, dings, and alerts. So we're not advocating, just getting really high instead of dealing with your email, but the research says you might be better off. No, that didn't come from me. That's just a survey. But here's what we're looking for today. When we're in control of emails, when we're ready to lift the fog, we have increased intention and focus, increased clarity. We can actually reduce our stress because there's some stressors that come with email. What do people want from me? An unclosed action loop with every potential email. We have to give it meaning. What do people want from me? What I need to be done from this? And either way, we have to, assign it some meaning. I'll give you my personal stressor, my memory, short-term memory. Again, let me know with a virtual reaction if I'm describing you as well. If anything ever went beneath the scroll, it would be out of my mind forever. Has anyone ever had to email themselves something just so they stayed on top of it? So there's some stressors involved with that. When we're in control of our emails, more efficient to get more done. So let's dive into it. Top 5 tips to love your inbox. I wish someone had shared this with me years ago. It's really changed the way I work. Number 1, even though it is the most popular, email is just one form of communication. Don't overplay it. Here's the golden rule when it comes to email and especially volume. If you want to receive less email, send less email. If you feed the beast, it continues to grow. So if you want to receive less email, send less email. That could mean, taking one person off a distribution list, hitting reply all one last time, or picking up the phone, or having a quick IM chat with someone, or actually getting up and asking someone a question. So that is tip number 1. It's the golden rule. If you want to receive less email, send less email. Don't overplay its use because it's going to take you in the direction, whether intended or not intended. Every piece of communication or comms is a step towards, or I'm going to add in brackets, away from your desired outcome. And we need to make it count. So that's the kind of golden rule around great email etiquette is, send less to receive less. There's a bounce back factor, certainly. Let's just pause at this for a second. Turn off your email notifications, the pings, the dings, the alerts, the pop-ups. This one's called the ghost. It just appears at the bottom of your screen. If we are constantly or consistently checking our email, and in some cases always have it on, these notifications just serve as a sign of distraction. All those little noises, all those, especially the audio signals, just pull our focus away from our most important work. So I said email's a great employee, but a terrible boss. Email's really good about telling you when to check email. And we should be trying to, as best as possible, to ignore those requests to check our email and checking email when we decide. And we're going to talk about how to batch process email in just a little bit. Sometimes this involves a little bit of stealth and camouflage around email. The one that I love, especially if you're an Outlook user up at the top here, is the little work offline button. So it allows you to be in your inbox, to compose an email, to be in your calendar and your to-do, but it puts a temporary hold on any incoming emails. I love to reserve this function when I'm deep in focus, involved in my heads down solo work. I pop that on and it puts a little pause on the outside world from any new incoming emails coming in. I will remind you though, and this is an important one, you need to unselect it if you're working offline before any of your new emails will return to you. So that's one we like to kind of protect our most valuable resource, which is our attention. So I mentioned this. Our email ninja mindset is to process emails, not to constantly check emails whenever email tells you to. Instead, we, go into our email, us ninjas, at designated times. We batch do all of our responses. We batch check our emails. We file them into the appropriate categories. And we do that in kind of one swoop. So then we're not distracted by other times. So how do you think about it? Let's hear from you in the chat. Roughly, how often do you check your email every day? Or is it secret answer, it's always on? A rough estimate of how many times you check a day, or it's it's always on. Yeah, right. So again, all the more reason if it's always on to turn off, especially those audio notifications, those alerts that are a constant distraction. When we're processing, we recommend the 80-20 rule. Many of you know this, the Pareto principle. 80% of our results come from 20% of our efforts. Well, we can use this for email as well. And it's 80% of our emails actually require no action. We often confuse that email is the important thing itself. It's often not. It's the call to action or the request of your time that's actually the most important part. So not all of it is the email that's important. It's what is the email asking you to do? Yasser's down to checking morning, noon, and at 4. Very cool. Love that. So the 80-20 rule when it comes to your inbox and your email, 20% of your emails produce 80% of your results. And we like to take it to the next level, the ninja level. And for every inbox we've ever seen, and that's thousands of inboxes, again, we think it's more like the 800-20 rule. And that for every 800 emails you get, there's probably about 20 that are very useful. So don't assume that the default response is to email is to reply. It probably should be file, archive, or delete. So we get a little bit ruthless using this 80-20 rule and 800-20 rule in some of our ninja tactics of processing your email. I love this. Don't do your email on your mobile. Studies have shown that we're less effective, we're more distracted and inefficient in responding to things. And it often becomes a source of one of our bad habits. So some more stats for you that I think are kind of staggering. 52% of people check your emails before work. Feel free to admit it. Give us a little virtual reaction if you're in that boat. No judgment. A lot of us do it. 25% of millennials and Gen X check emails while on vacation. I'm going to tell you that stat is way, way low. Way low. Way more people are checking their emails on vacation. And here's why I asked just your self-awareness around checks. What this Harvard Business Review study showed that is people are checking their email on average 15 times a day. 15 times a day, which equates to about every 37 minutes. And again, that's the people who responded with how many times they check. As we mentioned, some people have it always on. But here's the thing. There was a Forbes kind of study that did research around this. Do most people expect a response in that amount of time? And the answer is actually no. 11% of customers and 8% of clients expect a response in about an hour. Or less than an hour, excuse me, but about 40% of people expect a response in about an hour. So if people went from checking every 37 minutes to even every hour, or even better, or like some people are doing morning, noon, and at 4, it would cut out the amount of checks that you're doing. And we could spend at least, we're spending over 20 minutes just on over checking every day, which is, problematic. One of our best recommendations, and we're giving you some bonus content here, is before you start your day in your inbox, put down on a post-it note, delivery a post-it note or a sticky note because it's small, the 5 things that if you did them today will create the most impact or add the most value. If you start your day on a post-it note, you're starting your day on your priorities. If you're starting your day in your inbox and with your email, more than likely you're starting on somebody else's priorities. So our advice, start your day, 5 things on a post-it note, then open your email. Do a quick scan. If something is pressing, if something is going to add value or create impact for you, add it to your post-it note list. If not, get out of your inbox. It's usually more of just the same, and then spend your time working on that number 1 thing that's on your post-it note. So that's a real. Are these stats based on emails sent by employees, people, or only do these include generated emails? Employees and people as well, from the Harvard Business Review study. Great question. So let's talk about it. Again, we love to get to inbox 0. We offer an entire course on it. We'll gladly point you in the right direction if that sounds like it's something you need. But one of the secret sauces in that course is we create 3 processing folders. We believe your inbox is where things should land, not live. And when something lands into your inbox, it's going to go into one of 3 primary places. And these are your processing folders where current or live things are. They are your at action, at reading, and at waiting folder. A very quick highlight on what these are. At action, again, things that require you to do something, a response. So the first golden rule was, if you want to receive less email, send less email. The second golden rule is the 2-minute rule. If you can respond to it in 2 minutes or less, do it right now. If it's going to take you more than 2 minutes, you actually file that response into your at action folder and come back to it when you have the appropriate amount of attention. So again, this becomes a very important step of filing it into your at action folder. That way you have kind of a list of all those to-dos, all those things that you need to get done. I'm going to jump to the bottom. Your at waiting folder is just your folder of all those things that are not actionable by you next. So you're waiting for a response. You've sent out a proposal. You can't do anything until you hear back. Sometimes you have team members that you're delegating to or that you're chasing. So this is a list of all the people that you kind of need to follow up with. You know what you've sent to someone, on what date, about what subject, and you can't do anything yet, but you don't want to lose that train because you might have to do some chasing. This all lives in your at waiting folder. At reading folder, quite simply, all the correspondence that comes across your email that you need to read, that you need to get eyes on, whether this be newsletters or notifications or system updates. And again, these were current or live things are only. So once you've actioned something from your at action folder, once you've sent that response or done something, it no longer lives there. It is filed, archived, or deleted. Once you have read the newsletter from your at reading folder, it no longer lives there. It's filed, archived, or deleted if it's no longer needed. So these processing folders are where live or current things are only. Cool. Let's do a quick review because we've been throwing a lot of stuff at you. What we've covered today. We've put emails in their place. Again, our 3 processing folders are really where we're going to be spending a lot of our time. We recommend having a few reference folders for the stuff you need to keep, but not 100, not 1,000. Our whole philosophy is big buckets rather than tiny cups. We've put email in their place in terms of the priority. Our top 5 tips, again, don't overplay it. It's the most popular medium, but it is not the only medium. The golden rule is if you want to receive less email, send less email. Turn off your notifications. especially the audio ones. They are just a form of distraction. For many of you, you answered that your email is already on as well. So again, you're probably not going to miss things. And again, it's usually not the email that's important. It's the request of your time or the call to action. Stop checking email. Email is a terrible, terrible boss, but a great employee. You should be in charge of when you are in your inbox and processing in batch processing your email, and rather than one by one when email tells you to. Minimize your sending of email on your mobile. Sometimes it's convenient to check it, but when it actually requires thought and response, it's not as effective because again, we're not as clear in our thoughts when we're typing on our phones. And again, we recommend our triage into your 3 processing folders, your at action, at waiting, and at reading folders. Again, we have an entire chapter in the book on how to get your inbox to 0. And we do this in some of our regular workshops. We have great success with it. We've seen inboxes of all different shapes and sizes. Last week, I saw an inbox that had over 52,000 emails in it. In their inbox, not folders, over 52,000 in their inbox. And we got them down significantly by tens and tens of thousands just in an hour. It was really incredible to watch, to be honest with you. But one lucky person is going to get a copy of this because we do love our random draws. And I warned you to get your phones out. Here's your second reminder. Get your phones out because how to win a copy of the book is to fill out our little comments, our little survey about how the course was today. I'll give you some time to do this now. Scan that QR code. Let us know how we did today. There's also the link in chat. Thank you for that. Take a couple minutes to do this now. This does not take long. This is like a 2-3 minute survey. You'll be entered in the draw to win the book. And again, it really helps us moving forward. Let us know if this was valuable for you today. We certainly want to do better in all that we're doing. I don't know if you can tell, but I love what I do. And if I could be doing it any better myself, I want to. So that's an important one. I'll leave this up for a second. Take a quick QR scan of that. And while you have your phones out, another thing to scan, our Delegate Like a Productivity Ninja course. This is an open course. This is truly an incredible value. I'm still upset at Barbara for selling it for this little, but this is coming up on November 8th. It's $159. It's a 2-hour workshop on how to delegate better. This is something that can be learned. This is an important skill set for leaders, for managers, for your teams. It's delegating to get work off your plate. It's getting it into the right hands. This is one of our newest and best courses. And again, there's the QR code for it as well. We have about 5 minutes left, so we're going to open up the floor to a little bit of a Q&A. I'll put this link back up for now. If there's any questions, pop them into the chat. We'll be happy to do our best to answer them. There are no questions. We thank you for attending. Certainly makes it worthwhile, these little lunch and learns. Thank you for joining. And again, feel free to reach out on socials. I'll pop that up for a second. If you have a question about your email, send it to Nick at thinkproductivena.com. I'll put it in my at action folder and actually respond to you. Yeah, Celia, at action. I'll put it in the chat. At waiting and at reading. And why we use the at symbol is because Gmail and Outlook populate their folders alphabetically. And this little at symbol lets them nest and live right under your inbox. Great question. I'll put this back up if you're looking to get that QR code or link.
We also have more of these free webinars, so I put the link in, so do sign up. we've got the dreaded F word, which is all about feedback next month, along with one called From Burnout to Hope. So if you're struggling with overwhelm, please sign up for that one as well. That'll be at the end of November, and that'll be up soon.
Great reminder. Thank you. Any other questions, team? Happy to help. Sorry, I missed that. Was that a question, Debbie?
Oh, sorry, no, just talking out loud.
Okay, cool. Wonderful. Again, thank you for your time today, folks. We certainly appreciate it. We do hope to join us for Delegate Like a Productivity Ninja, our open course on November 8th. Again, we're really proud of this one. This is going to be a great session. Early bird price is still in effect. All the best to you folks. Yeah, you're welcome. Cheers. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Oh, that's very good.